Welcome out to another one of our Athlete of the Week interviews as we return to women's soccer. It's been a minute since we returned to women's soccer, which is kind of odd because you guys have had a really good season so far on the women's soccer side. Rachelle Pinto, our newest Athlete of the Week, career high in goals, 2 of them in the opening round of the Region 9 postseason, and the first 2 goals of the game against Gillette College. So really a game winner for you against Gillette College. How'd it feel, Rachelle, to kind of see yourself peaking in the postseason?
It feels good in a way where it's like all that hard work I put in preseason and regular season, it's paying off, especially when we need it the most. So I feel more like accomplished in some ways.
You come up from Colorado and freshman year, you get to make a somewhat of an impact on the team. What's the journey been like of kind of being close to home, but also being a little bit on your own while you get to explore the college soccer level?
I'd say it's really, really nice, and I'm really thankful that I had the opportunity to stay as close as I am. I'm only 2 hours away from Parker, so when I have free time, I have like the flexibility to like go home and see my family. And my family also makes the effort to come up to Cheyenne and watch my games, so that's been really nice too. In terms of like college soccer, I'd say at first it was like pretty difficult because it's like definitely a different level, different expectations, everything's more intense. But I think having the support of my family, especially my dad, like really close, I think that kind of like eased the tense a little bit. So yeah, I'm really thankful. And yeah.
I know you came here as a midfielder, kind of that was your major deal, but you've played almost every position you can for the team this year, including starting at forward in that game against Gillette. And Lugo said you didn't even know you were going to be starting that game, much less starting in a different position until really the day of.
Yeah. Yeah, that was definitely interesting because coming into college soccer, I played the 9 position. Like in all of high school and club, I was playing 9. So like I have experience in it, but I think coming here, I was like kind of newer to midfield as well. So he put me as midfield rather than 9 my freshman year. But then when I played forward, I was also playing wing, which like I had a little bit of experience, but not as much as like the 9 position. So it was definitely like, goodness, like kind of nervous when you said like the starting lineup. I was like, oh, sure, I actually like need to like walk in for a second. So yeah.
How did it feel when you get that and then 15 minutes in, or 10 minutes in, actually, you end up scoring that opening goal? Did that take some of that pressure off of being in that position again and kind of being in that spot off of you a bit?
Yeah, a little, just because, like, when you play forward, like, you're expected to score the goals. Like, that's why you're starting. That's why you're in that position to score. So I think scoring, especially that early, it's kind of like, okay, I can, like, chill down a little. I can, continue to work hard, but also, like, let's get another one. And, like, let's, like, continue, like, doing the job. So.
When you see the talent that this team has at forward as well, I mean, you talk about Danny, you talk about Aubrey, you go down the list, I mean, Giselle, it's so many different people that can make impacts on this team. What's it like as far as sharing that? Because I know this team is really close to each other when it comes to not really celebrating their own stuff, but celebrating each other.
Mm-hmm. So I think it's amazing how, like, first of all, like, those forwards are amazing players. Like, they're so fast. So I think when I was starting, I was like, oh, like, we have depth. Like, it's not like, so I think just having their support, too, especially when I scored. Because, like, as someone, like, I'm not, like, I don't have 1 million goals, like, in my record. Like, so I'm, like, so just having their support, like, felt nice, too. Because it's like, okay, yay, like... Yeah.
I love this team and the fact that you guys have come such a long ways. And now that you get into you're getting into the meat of the postseason now. Semifinals in Region 9, not to discredit the bottom half of the region, but it's not necessarily as tight when you get to those top 4, top 5 teams. What are you guys preparing for when it comes to taking on Casper? Because now going to their place, first round, I feel like the focus has to really be 100% for the team.
Mm-hmm. So I think a lot of us are really going to focus on, like, our mindset, like, right now before, like, the game gets closer. Because I think it's going to be such a mental game. I think we have pretty good chances against Casper. Like, I think it's definitely going to be, like, a fun game and, like, very, like, tight. So I think what would help us win is, like, our mentality going into the game. And so I think just staying positive, and instead of, like, even though we didn't have, like, the result we wanted in regular season, I think a lot of us are going to try to, like, forget about that because that's in the past now. Like, that doesn't really, like, matter. Like, right now what matters is winning this game. So I think mentality is a huge one. I think also just taking care of ourselves and really just, you know, staying hydrated, like the little things, like it matters when we step on the field, like, and so I think that's like a huge thing that we're trying to do. And then, yeah, I think a lot of us want to like start training like with a purpose. Like obviously, like this could potentially be our last like training like week together as a team. So I think just realizing that, knowing like this could be the end if we don't like lock in, then like I think a lot that really drives a lot of us too to like push ourselves at training and really correct the small things that will matter in the big game.
I like that, a healthy approach to it. That's enough talk about the postseason and what's coming up for you guys. Talk a little bit about being a student athlete though. Sophomore, has it been easier sophomore year than freshman year, or what's kind of the adjustment been like of balancing what is a lot of stuff to do?
So being a student athlete last year was kind of intimidating, like as a freshman, because it's like, well, I have a lot of demands in soccer, but also like college is way more harder than high school, like academically. But I'm just really thankful that my professors on the business side were very supportive and very much like super like pro athletics. So they were like, if I had to miss a game or a class to go to a game, then they were really like, okay, like here's what we have to do, here's what you're gonna miss, and then they're really like flexible about it. So I think that was a huge thing last year when adjusting to like college life and athletics at the same time. But I'd say sophomore year was a little bit more stressful, especially when you like count like recruiting and everything. It like adds more to your plate. And then I also like was like really fortunate to get the RA position on campus, so I think that also adds like a lot. And so yeah.
You stacked up the level of things that you needed to do, because I think that's another thing that's kind of intimidating when athletes get here is it's no longer, okay, 2 hours after school, maybe you have weights in the morning or something like that, but there's not the, okay, you have 4 to 5 hours worth of athletic stuff that you're in charge of, from film, from weights, from practices and trainings, to then go into classes and keeping that. So it's good to see that you've been able to, well, add more onto that and handle it extremely well. That's all leading into prepping you for the next step. And now that you're getting to the end of the year, you obviously don't want to think too much about it because you're in postseason, but how much thought have you been giving to that next level, and how much of a process, how excited are you about opening your eyes to that process now?
So it was definitely like really scary going into the process because it's like a lot of just like self-doubt, I think, for myself at least, because I'm like, am I even good enough? But I mean, thankfully I have a lot of support from my family and then like my boyfriend too and like my friends, and so they've all supported me in that process too, very encouraging, very much like you can do it and it's very much possible. So I think going into that was really scary, but I am really open like for every school. I just want to go somewhere that really like values me as a player. I'm not just like a number on the roster, especially being like an upperclassman too. I think that's really important for me too.
Do you got a dream school yet?
I'm not really sure. I mean, just my dream school would be any school that has like a great like team chemistry and then like a great coaching staff. That would be honestly my dream school, and then somewhere where I can like finish off my last 2 years with like grace and like pretty much happy that I finished my last 2 years there. So.
I love it. I love it. Rachelle Pinto, fantastic person, fantastic player, obviously, with earning Athlete of the Week, and looking forward to seeing what you guys can do at Casper, and hopefully, knock on wood, we're watching you guys in the Region 9 semifinals in 2 weeks. Thank you so much for the time.
Thank you.